So you were married to your husband, but you were having children with other men.
I was. And he raised them as his own and knew them to be his own until the divorce.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. Shout out to Soft White Underbelly for this video. He does great interviews on his channel. Salute! This woman basically explains the process of paternity fraud, which is essential for men to understand. Her story is personal, and that's why we focus on the information that is consistent in paternity fraud cases, using her story as the foundation of this video. I also want to thank this woman for sharing her story, because we need these stories so we can learn from them and protect ourselves. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do, because we men, ain't we? We men, ain't we?
Did you premeditate this, or just all of a sudden you found out you were pregnant by somebody you were cheating with?
Oh, no, it was definitely not premeditated, but we weren't using protection.
So it was premeditated.
I didn't say, like, I'm going to have sex with this man to have a baby, you know? But I mean, I guess there was nothing done to prevent it.
You guess? There is no guesswork. What you have to understand about cheating is that it is always predetermined. It never just happens, especially when it comes to women. Because according to research, 50% of married women and women in relationships have a backup partner waiting in case their relationship fails. This study was done almost 10 years ago, and I truly believe this percentage has only increased. Here's another one. Unsafe sex, common when partner cheats, according to study. I don't care what excuse any woman has when it comes to unprotected sex. We all know that the possibility of getting pregnant is there. And as the gatekeeper of sex and the one who's going to have to carry the child, she carries the biggest responsibility. So she is irresponsible, no matter how she slices it. No excuses. Now let's take it a step further.
And the first man that I had the affair with is now my boyfriend, the father of my first child, my son, and he was my husband's assistant manager at the time.
This gets messy.
It's very, it's very messy. So my ex-husband brought him onto the team where he was working. And my ex-husband always made his assistant managers like his best friend. So he started bringing this guy around, and I made the first move, of course.
Of course. This is essential information, because you have to understand that paternity fraud doesn't happen when the baby is born. This woman already selected this guy as a potential father because we are wired to procreate. Remember this?
Okay, that's a good-looking guy. Jeez. Well, yeah, he could be the father of my child.
It's really as simple as this. A woman knows in a matter of seconds if she would have sex with a man, which means procreation, at least the possibility. Here's the kicker. New research suggests women are more likely to cheat than men in a relationship. This was always the case. It's just that women don't get caught because men don't want to believe that their wives or girlfriends are capable of cheating on them. But this idea has changed drastically over the years because of the internet and social media. Women are exposing themselves on a daily basis, and we are just highlighting it so men can be aware of how the paternity fraudster operates. Let's take it a step further.
But the second affair, who the man is the father of my daughter, he actually worked with me this time. He was my maintenance guy at my leasing job.
9 out of 10 times, it's a coworker or a friend, someone you've seen or definitely heard of. It's close. You don't have to look far to find the person she's dealing with. I listen to True Story, who shares many stories of men who've been cheated on by their wives and girlfriends. And yes, 9 out of 10 times it's a co-worker, a friend, or an ex from the past that reconnected. The men are not suspicious. They think their wives going to work is a lesser threat than going out to the club. I understand, because why would you want to be in a relationship without trust? Well, it's a new day. Every woman has this here on your screen, and these women creatures love attention. And because of this thing here on your screen, women have access to an abundance of attention, which opens the floodgates for infidelity. You cannot assume that this is never gonna happen to you. If you're planning to have kids, always take a paternity test. I don't care if your woman likes it or not. Most paternity test labs report that about 1/3 of their paternity tests have a negative results. You have to understand that this is based on men who have a reason to take a paternity test. This number could be much higher or lower if paternity tests were mandatory. Look what happens next.
And when I found out I was pregnant with my son, we were 100% sure it was my husband's, even though I was having an affair, because, I don't know, I just always felt like I could sense when I got pregnant, which obviously isn't right, but I just felt it, so we were so sure, and then he came out looking like my boyfriend now. Spitting image. So there were some questions at the beginning there, but still, you have to be really sure about that to confront your wife, you know? You gotta be real sure. So he didn't. People questioned what he looked like to him, and he just said no. And then with my daughter, she's Hispanic. So she came out a little more tan than the both of us. And just as she grew up, just kept that tan skin. And still, she looks so much like me. He was just like, yep, she looks like my wife. And now she looks like her dad, which is terrifying.
This is why women don't want paternity testing to be mandatory, because it takes away that plausible deniability. Women know they are cheaters. Women know they don't want to be wives. Women know if the baby is yours or not. However, you, men, are not supposed to know that. Watch our series, The Manipulated Man, by Esther Villar. She talks about how women use men as workhorses. This woman had 2 babies with 2 different men, and her ex-husband was paying for them. Now look at how this woman is using the kids to get what she wants.
And he raised them as his own and knew them to be his own until the divorce.
How did that news come out?
My lawyer had to use language in what we wanted to kind of make it a point to say that, like, he may not be the dad, you know, like, I don't even remember what word she used, but it was a word that kind of made his lawyer be like, we should probably do a DNA test on these children. And he did.
Because you were looking to keep it quiet?
I wouldn't say that.
To collect child support?
No, oh no. The divorce agreement said no child support on either side. We were both making the same amount of money. So to this day, neither of us pays child support. But no, he got them. I didn't want to necessarily keep it quiet. I didn't want to break his heart.
This is pure gold. Her ex-husband was probably fighting for full or joint custody of the children. She probably didn't want that. So now she was willing to let the ex-husband know he's not the father in order to keep the children for herself. So she uses the children the way she sees fit. This is paternity fraud. It's a crime. No matter what she does in court, she is never guilty. At the end of the day, these children are her children. That's how women see it, and this is how the court system sees it.
Do you have regrets about anything you've done?
I wouldn't say regrets because I got my babies. So I definitely am not going to say that I regret it. I wish I would have gone about it differently, maybe. or maybe picked a second different baby daddy. I don't know, because I didn't even think he was gonna be my baby daddy. And here we are with 3 baby daddies and 2 kids, is what I joke about.
No regrets because she got her babies. Her irresponsible behavior got rewarded. The moment women lose their children in court, these feminists will go wild on the streets protesting for equal rights, claiming children should never be taken away from their mothers, regardless.
And you would prefer that was not the case, or?
Unfortunately, he doesn't like to pick, this is going to sound bad about me, but he doesn't like to pick the best women. And I do feel that one day there will come a woman who doesn't necessarily want him to raise children who aren't his. I hope that doesn't happen. But if that does happen, I will have wished he had made the move sooner.
This is why women are in conflict with each other. Women also have a problem with paternity fraud. Women also have a problem with paying child support for children who are not theirs. Women also have a problem with paying a man alimony he doesn't deserve. But when it's beneficial to them, they will not object, and they will even take advantage of the situation. It's never been about equality. It's always been about what benefits her, she-quality. This is why women will always tell on themselves, because they are walking contradictions.
Yeah, my ex-husband's family cut him off once he decided to claim the children. They didn't like that, and they threatened to sue me with fraud because of what they had bought in the children. And then, of course, I took away my ex-husband's whole life in one swift. Whoosh, house, wife, kids. So I think the craziest part is just the guilt that I always feel, like every day. And if I think about it, I cry. And I've gotten called a lot of names. And I get it, I do. But it's like I've called myself those names more than anybody else has.
You're harder on yourself than everyone else.
Absolutely. And and my mom used to say, the people who love you. Like, they're not going to judge you. And I know that. Everybody who loves me has been so supportive and so amazing, but I judge me.
You see how she thinks it's strange to be sued for fraud? This is why the laws need to change, because this is fraud. Paternity fraud. It's not just having a financial impact. It's also an emotional and social impact, not just on the ex-husband, but also his family. Even though they are not his children, he still sees them as his. This is a serious crime. Women don't regret what they've done, but they feel guilty for the things they have done, because women don't like it when people look at them in a negative way. We've made videos about cheating women, porn stars, OnlyFans content creators, and they couldn't deal with the guilt, but they don't regret what they've done. They just wanted a different outcome. One day, the children are gonna find out the horrible things she has done, and that's eating this woman up. This is a reason why women don't want fathers in the lives of their children, because the father could remind her and the children of the horrible things she has done. It's much easier to blame everything on men.
I do believe he'll start asking questions. And a part of me thinks he'll be relieved to find out. But no child will even find out until my ex and I both decide that it's time.
Management, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.